So today we're working on lesson 11 exit ticket, and I notice you're noticing that I'm folding my exit ticket kind of in a strange way. For problem number 1, I wanted lots of room to work with because I wanted to show you 4 different ways you could solve problem number 1. So you only need to model one of these methods on your own exit ticket, so you'll have enough space without folding it over. But because I'm showing you the 4 ways you could possibly do it today, I folded mine over to get lots of room on the back side. So don't mind my exit ticket. This is just what it looks like in the meantime. Problem number 1 says solve using the standard algorithm, the area model, the distributive property, or the partial products method. Or means that I can choose which of these different ways to solve makes the most sense for me. But I figured you can't really make that decision unless you truly know, comparing each of these, which one you prefer. So I thought I'd do that for you today in our exit ticket video. We're doing the same problem for each of the 4 methods, which is 2,809 times 4. The method you're probably the most comfortable with is your standard algorithm. This is the method that you had a lot of practice in. That's when we stack our numbers, making sure that our place values are lined up, and we multiply from bottom to top one place value at a time. 4 times 9 is 36, so I leave my 6 ones behind and I write the 3 on the line or above the 0, whichever you're most comfortable with. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 3 more is 3, so I have 3 tens. And then I would continue this process all the way down until I've solved the entire algorithm. Now, of course, I need you to use your brain power today, so I won't solve any more. If this is the method that you want to choose, you can fast forward through the rest of the video until we get to problem 2. Otherwise, if this is not a method that feels comfortable for you, let's talk about the area model. The area model, in a lot of ways, is very similar to our tape diagrams. Let's say we wanted to find the area of this shape. We would do that by multiplying how tall it is by how wide it is. So for us today, the width is 2,809 and our height is 4. But let's break it down even more than that. Let's make it even simpler. Let's take this area model and let's break it into their place values. So we'll make this big, large chunk. It's thousands. It has 2,000 in it. And then we'll use this not as big, but also large chunk to show 800. We have no tens, but we do have ones, 9 ones. And then our job becomes multiplying 2,000 times 4 and adding that to the other parts of our area model. 800 times 4, and finally 9 times 4. By adding all those products together, you can find what the entire product is. Some people prefer this method because then it really breaks down their math facts into groups of hundreds and thousands, and multiplying those zeros are simpler for them. So if this is a method that you like to do, you can solve this way and then fast forward to problem 2 in this video. But if you want to keep on going, I'll show you 2 more methods. The third method is called distributive property, and it's very similar to our area model, except we're taking away the visual of the area model. The distributive property is telling us, well, basically, if I multiply 4 times 2,809, that's the same as saying that I'm multiplying 4 by every place value added together. So I'm going to expand the number 2,809 into its expanded form. And then I'm going to distribute this 4 times to each of these numbers. So that means that 2,000 gets its own 4 times. 800 gets its own 4 times, and 9 gets its own 4 times. And you'll see that this is exactly the same as the number sentence we wrote for area model. We've just taken away the visual aid of the tape diagram. If this is the method that's most comfortable for you, you can skip forward to problem 2 in this video. Otherwise, I'm going to push forward and show you our final method, which is partial products. Partial products is like taking the standard algorithm and the distributive property and combining them together. So just like in the standard algorithm, I'm going to stack my numbers together. So far it looks pretty similar. But like the distributive property, I'm only multiplying the place values and then adding them all together. Let me give you an example. 4 ones times 9 ones equals 36 ones. Instead of regrouping that 3, I'm going to write all 36 underneath my line. And now I've multiplied my ones. So now I'm going to go and multiply my tens. 10 has a 0 in the number, so I'm going to leave a 0 here before I start multiplying. 4 times 0 equals, well, 0. So that means that I have 0 tens. Now I'm going to multiply in the hundreds place. 100 has 2 zeros at the end of the number. So before I start multiplying, I'm going to put 2 zeros on that next line to represent the hundreds place. 4 times 8 is 32. So I have 32 hundreds in the hundreds place. And then finally, I'm going to solve for the thousands. And thousands have 3 zeros in it. 4 times 2 is 8. So now that I've multiplied my ones, my tens, my hundreds, and my thousands, the last step, just like the distributive property, is that I'm going to add all of these numbers together to figure out how much I have as a total product. On your own, decide which of these 4 methods did you like the most, and show me which one you are using to solve. In your work, I should be able to know by looking at what you're writing on your piece of paper which method you prefer using. If you're using area model, we should see that tape diagram. If we're doing partial products, I should see the standard algorithm set up, but separated into this addition problem. So take a moment to solve 1, and now let's look at problem 2. Problem number 2 says the monthly newspaper is 9 pages long. Mrs. Smith needs to print 675 copies. What will be the total number of pages printed? First, I'm going to circle my numbers. 9, 675. Underline my question. What will be the total number of pages? Box math action words. Total copies. And now it's time for me to evaluate my steps. This is where I'm actually going to write some work down on my piece of paper. Well, I know that each newspaper has 9 pages. And they're going to be making 675 copies. That's basically like them saying that they have 675 groups of 9 pages. So my job is that I'm going to multiply to solve for 675 times 9. Now we went over 4 different ways that you can multiply, so I'll leave that up to you how you want to solve. But just remember that you need to include a statement in your answer. Once you have your number, you can tell me they will print blank pages. And this is where you can plug in your answer. All right, that's a lot of information, but today you're only solving 2 problems. So go ahead and have a turn at it.